Welcome back to the Deep Dive. And wow, if you tuned in for the opening match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, you know exactly why we are so fired up today.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, what a game.
Right. Mexico beats South Africa 2-0. But the final score, it honestly doesn't even begin to cover the sheer chaos of what actually happened on that pitch.
No, the scoreline is probably the least interesting thing about this match, honestly.
Seriously, our mission today is to unpack all the coverage and match reports because this game delivered like a 16-year revenge arc, a deeply emotional comeback story, and just unprecedented historical mayhem.
It really had everything. You expect World Cup openers to be a bit cautious, right? A bit scripted. But the players just threw the script out the window and chose absolute violence.
Totally. And to really set the scene for you, just picture this. The World Cup returns to Mexico after 40 years. You've got over 80,000 fans packed into the Estadio Azteca.
Just a sea of green jerseys. The atmosphere must have been completely electric.
Oh, beyond electric. And the pre-match spectacle was huge, too. You had Shakira and Burna Boy performing at the opening ceremony.
Yeah, and the VIP box was just stacked. Roberto Baggio, Carlos Puyol, FIFA president Gianni Infantino was there too.
Exactly. Because this wasn't just any match. This was the grand inauguration of the massive 48-team World Cup, the biggest one in history. And Mexico had the honor of kicking it all off.
Which brings a ton of pressure. And then you look at their opponent, right? South Africa, Bafana Bafana, returning to the World Cup for the first time since 2010.
And that 2010 detail is so crucial to understanding the emotional temperature of this game.
It is, because this was a direct rematch of the 2010 opening game. Back then, South Africa were the hosts, and they managed to hold Mexico to a 1-1 draw.
Right, which felt like a massive win for South Africa on their home soil, but for Mexico, it was just incredibly frustrating.
Exactly. So fast forward 16 years, and the roles are completely reversed. Mexico is hosting. They invited their old rival into their house, basically to settle that score.
And man, did they get their revenge big time. I mean, the match kicks off, and Mexico wastes absolutely zero time making an impact.
None at all. They came out flying.
Yeah, just 9 minutes in, and Julian Quinones wakes up the entire Azteca with an incredible goal.
That shot was so sharp, clean, perfect. He just slipped it right through the legs of the South African goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams.
On a goal that early in a World Cup opener. I mean, that's rare, right?
Very rare. Actually, our reports show it's the fastest goal in an opening match since 2006, when Germany's Philipp Lahm scored in the 6th minute.
Wow. So we're talking historical levels of fast. And Quinones' personal story makes that moment even better, you know?
Oh, it's fascinating. Because he's a dual national, right? He was born in Colombia.
Yeah. And when he debuted for Mexico back in 2023, he faced a lot of really harsh criticism. People were saying he wasn't, quote unquote, a real Mexican.
Which is just an awful thing for a player to deal with. But talk about silencing the critics.
Right. Scoring the opening goal of a home World Cup in front of 80,000 screaming fans. Yeah, that criticism is completely dead now.
Definitely. And that early goal just dictated the whole first half. Mexico held about 55-45 possession.
South Africa was fighting, sure, but Mexico's grip on the game was just incredibly strong.
But then we get to the second half. And this is where the game turns from a feel-good story into a gritty action thriller.
Yeah, the real masala of the match. The descent into chaos. Because the real headline here is the red cards.
3 red cards. In an opening match, it's completely unheard of.
Let's break them down for everyone, because it escalated so quickly. The first red goes to South Africa's Sithole Zwane.
Yeah, a straight red. He dragged down Brian Gutierrez just outside the penalty area,
denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity.
Exactly. The referee had to give it. It was the correct decision, but suddenly South Africa's down to 10 men.
And things only get worse from there. Just a bit later, the VAR steps in and catches the South African substitute, Sithole Zwane.
Right. He raised his hand up near Roberto Alvarado's face. He just can't do that, so he sees red too.
Boom. South Africa is now playing with just 9 men. 9. In a World Cup opener.
It's a total structural collapse of discipline.
And naturally, Mexico takes advantage of this. Yeah. Which leads us to arguably the most emotional moment of the entire tournament so far.
The Raul Jimenez goal.
Yes. Alvarado puts in this long cross, and Jimenez heads it right into the back of the net to make it 2-0.
And, we throw the word comeback around a lot in sports, but this completely redefines it.
Totally. I mean, think about it. If you put yourself in Jimenez's shoes for a second, he's 35 years old. In 2020, he suffered that horrific, potentially career-ending head injury.
A fractured skull. The doctors literally warned him his career might be over. The fact that he's even on the pitch is a medical marvel.
Exactly. And the psychological trauma of an injury like that, your brain is wired to protect your head.
Yes. Flinching is a natural human instinct. To overcome that fear, to launch yourself into the air and forcefully head a soccer ball on the world's biggest stage.
It's just unbelievable. And it makes perfect sense why the match reports noted that he was literally in tears on the pitch right after scoring.
The whole stadium was probably crying with him. It transcended the game completely. It was a victory over the darkest moment of his life.
Yeah, it felt like the perfect movie ending. But of course, the chaos wasn't actually over yet.
Far from it. Because Mexico wasn't entirely innocent in this discipline breakdown.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
Deep in stoppage time, minute 90+2, Mexico's Cesar Montes gets a straight red card for serious foul play.
So now Mexico is down to 10 men, South Africa is at 9, and the game ends in just a messy, violent collision.
3 red cards in total, which, according to the sources, makes absolute World Cup history for an opening match.
It's a complete anomaly for day one of a tournament. Though, funnily enough, South Africa has been in this exact situation before.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Back in the 1998 World Cup, they played Denmark, and that match also featured 3 red cards.
Oh, wow. So they have a bit of a history with this kind of drama.
Apparently so.
But man, taking a step back, Javier Aguirre, the Mexican manager, he had some interesting comments after the match about why this all happened.
He pointed straight to the nerves, didn't he?
Yeah. He basically said the mistakes and the lack of discipline came down to the immense pressure. He mentioned the players were carrying the weight of 180 million people on their shoulders.
And you can understand that. The emotional stakes of hosting, the desire for 2010 revenge, it all just boiled over. The adrenaline turned toxic.
Which is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And, despite the chaos, there was one really bright spot for Mexico's future in this game, besides the win.
Gilberto Mora.
Yes. Mexico subbed him on in the second half. He's only 17 years old.
Which officially makes him the youngest player to ever take the field for Mexico in a World Cup.
A star is born right in the middle of all that madness.
It's incredible. But we have to talk about the tactical hangover of this match. The so what of all these red cards.
Right, because the consequences are brutal for both teams going forward.
Exactly. Mexico won. They got their poetic justice for 2010. But losing Cesar Montes is a huge blow.
Right. He's basically the anchor of their defense. And now he's suspended for their next Group A match.
You can't just plug a backup center back into a highly rehearsed defensive line and expect it to be flawless. It creates massive vulnerabilities.
And South Africa's situation is even worse. They have to play their next match missing 2 key players.
Yeah, down 2 starters, their manager is going to have to completely redraw their tactical map.
It just shows how razor-thin the margins are in this tournament. You can get the emotional win, but lose your discipline for a split second, and you jeopardize your entire group stage run.
It's the ultimate contradiction of a match. A beautiful human triumph sitting right next to an ugly tactical meltdown.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. If the pressure of a host nation opener leads to this much intense emotion and this much historic indiscipline right out of the gate.
What on earth does this signal for the rest of the 2026 World Cup?
Exactly. If teams are pushing themselves to the absolute brink on day one, are we looking at the most fiercely combative tournament we've ever seen?
It definitely sets a terrifyingly high baseline for aggression.
It really does. Well, if this match was any kind of trailer for what's to come, this World Cup is going to be unmissable.
Oh, without a doubt.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to subscribe. And let us know, how far do you think Mexico can actually go in this tournament with this kind of fiery energy? Until next time, keep exploring the stories behind the scorelines.